Thank you for tuning in to the Survivor Not By Chance podcast. We discuss survivor stories from all walks of life with guests who have turned their traumatic experiences into inspirational stories. The show is for entertainment purposes only. We do not claim to be medical professionals, nor do we give medical advice. Let's get started. Come on in and enjoy the show.
Let's meet Asia Carroll, host of Survivor Not By Chance podcast. Asia is the author of The Pressures of Becoming a Diamond. She is a life coach here to help you through life's issues. Asia is also a psychic medium. Let her dive into your future. Contact Asia at www.survivornotbychance.com.
Welcome to Survivor Not By Chance podcast. Thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate all of my viewers. Thank you to all of my regular viewers that watch every week and listen to the show every week. I cannot do this without you. I truly appreciate each and every one of you for being here. So if you are watching on my YouTube channel, or if you are watching on Facebook or listening to my podcast on audio, please go to my YouTube channel and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Survivor Not By Chance. We have an amazing guest today. His name is Brad Butler II, and he's going to share his story about pain, passion, and purpose, and how he was able to get himself to where he is today. So what I'm going to do is, as I usually do each time, is pull a card really quickly for the collective and see what needs to be said. Lost in space, needing direction. So literally, we're going to talk about a time in our lives where we may have felt lost and we found the direction, how we were able to move forward and move past where we were. Moving forward and sometimes needing direction, you can ask for guidance. Pray. If you pray to God, if you meditate, be sure to reach out and ask for guidance, because that's where you will be able to get to where you're going. So I'm super excited to bring Brad on to the show. Brad, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. So I just want to go ahead and jump right in. Let's talk about something that is super phenomenal, which is your book, Pain, Passion, and Purpose.
Well, the book Pain, Passion, Purpose, it's literally just about my life, my upbringing, and what led me to become a motivational speaker. What led me on that journey, the ups and downs, the adversity, my family. Somewhere along the line, I didn't even want to write the book, to tell you the truth. I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't thrilled when my mentor told me, he said, Brad, you have to write a book. And I was like, I'm not writing a book. Like, I don't like writing. So why would I write a book? So, and he was like, no, you have to write a book. Like, you have a strong story and you have to look at it from this standpoint. There are a number of people in the world, the majority of the people in the world, they're never going to hear your story with you telling it through a keynote on stage. There's a good amount of people who are only going to hear your story through a book. So you have to make sure that you cater to that audience as well. So I said, all right, fine. So, and I'm thinking to myself, man, it's going to take me forever to write this book, man. Like, I don't want to do this. And I ended up buying a book writing course. It was, at the time, it was $27 for me to buy this book writing course. Right. I was like, oh, all right, cool. My guy, Sean Blanchard, great dude, and now you cannot get that course for $27. But wow. Yeah, he's the one who helped me to get it moving. And literally after finishing that course or that webinar that I was on, I wrote the book in 2 weeks and I published it in less than 6 months.
That is so amazing. Wow. Yeah. So let's just go and talk about your background a little bit, where you're from, and some of your challenges and how you were able to get through those challenges to make it to where you are and be successful today.
So born and raised in New Jersey, still live in New Jersey now, born in Jersey City. I lived there till I was about 8 years old. And that's when I ended up moving to a suburban community of East Windsor, New Jersey. So I lived there for a while. Now I'm out in Franklin Park, which is like right below New Brunswick, right by Rutgers.
Mhm.
So yeah, I live with my wife out here.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And so let's talk about some of the challenges you may have had in school.
So I definitely faced a lot of challenging moments when I was in school. When I was in Jersey City, school was somewhat difficult for me, but I always felt like I would, get it, pick it up. Like sometimes I had to do summer school, to kind of
Mm,
complete things, make sure they're like, okay, let's just make sure he really got it before we move him on to the next grade. Did that. Always worked out. But when I moved to East Windsor, that was the first real form of adversity that I ever dealt with.
mm,
I going from Jersey City, the curriculum is different.
mm,
The curriculum's different. Their pedagogy is different. So when you come over to a suburban community, and I didn't know at the time, I didn't know, my parents didn't know, nobody knew at the time that the community that I moved into, East Windsor, is actually probably one of the best educational systems in New Jersey.
mm.
I believe it's in the top 25.
Wow.
So yeah, they do very well academically, and I didn't know I was going into that realm,
Mm,
and so it was hard for them to try to help me to keep up. So
mm,
they said the best option would be for me to go ahead and be in special ed classes, give me an IEP. I do remember it very vividly, being in the very first meeting with my mom and the counselors and everyone, and I just had a bad feeling about it. The whole time I had my head down. I tell people all the time when I do my presentations, I tell them that I had my head down the whole time, and it was just a pool of tears on
mm,
the table in front of me because I couldn't stop crying because I didn't know what was wrong. I didn't know what I did wrong.
mm,
And during that time, I honestly did think that something was wrong with me. I thought that I was stupid. I'm like,
mm,
man, I'm not like everybody else. I'm not like, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? You know, I'm at that time, I'm like, man, well, give me some other work to do. Just give me some more time. I can figure it out. I can get it. If you give me more, I'll try harder. Knowing that I've already tried as hard as I can. Like, I don't know if I can try any harder, but I literally looked at it as this was the worst thing ever.
mm,
For me to be in these classes, having an IEP, having these meetings, being in these small classes, having the same teachers and stuff over and over again. I'm thinking something's wrong with me. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized that being in special ed classes and having an IEP it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the end of the world. It didn't mean that I wasn't capable of still going to college and getting a degree or getting a good job, having a career. That's not what it was. But when you're in the moment, a lot of times they say when you're so close to the frame, you can't see the picture,
mm.
right? You can't see, like, you're so close and you're like looking at the details and you're like, this is wrong about me. This is wrong.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not good at math and this and that. But if you take a step back and look at the full
Mhm.
picture, you see, oh, okay, I can still make something happen here. I can still make this work because once I graduated from high school, I was on the same playing field as everybody else at that point. Maybe
Yeah.
I couldn't automatically go to a 4-year college or go D1 as an athlete, but I could still go to a community college. And
Mhm.
from there, I could then transfer to a 4-year college. And if that was the case, then I'm on the same path as everybody else now.
Yes, I love that. It is so many children out there that are in schools who do have IEPs, who do have special needs, and they think that it's them. They think that it's something wrong with them as an individual when there are a lot of different things that come into play. It could just be their learning style. They could learn on a different spectrum, and the way the school districts are teaching could not just be conducive for the way that they learn. And so this is very important that we educate our children, especially if they are in special education. I do have a child who is in special education, and that's why I was so excited to have you on this platform with us, because I have explained to my son, baby, you learn differently. That's it. You learn differently, and you just need a little bit extra help. And so when you explain it to children that way, it makes it a little bit easier for them to adjust. But sometimes parents have a hard time having that conversation.
Absolutely. And I've talked to a number of different parents because they know of my story. So they ask, well, how were you able to get through it? Because you have a master's degree now. How were you able to do that?
So beautiful.
And the thing that helped me the most was my support system, right?
Mm,
My mother never told me that anything was wrong with me. She
mm,
never said there was an issue. You don't have an issue. You don't have a learning disability. There's nothing wrong with you. You have a different way of learning. So I
right.
understand that you're in school. So do it the way that they're asking you to do it so you can get through this thing,
Mm,
right? But you're going to have more freedom when you get to college. College will offer you more freedom, different ways. There'll be other tutors and different things like that that you can use to your advantage to help you get through this and be the best student you can be. So my best grades came when I got out of high school.
mm. Look at that. I think that's so phenomenal that you are, you know, so doing so well in your career. You're out there in the schools helping these children understand who they are as individuals, as well as, speaking on huge platforms. And yet someone in school may have counted you out, not realizing you're literally going to take over the world. So you are amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm so grateful to have you here today. So I also want to talk about something called adultification bias. A lot of people are not aware of what this is. Adultification bias is when minority students are looked at as more responsible, or in an adult way. They are expected to know more than their white counterparts. And the reason I bring this up is because there are a lot of students who are in schools and they are over disciplined. They are sent to the principal's office for little minor minuscule things when they shouldn't be sent to the principal's office. They are not receiving empathy. They are not receiving compassion for their situations. And so we need to bring this to the forefront so that we can understand what these children are going through emotionally, because it takes a toll on you emotionally. And I've experienced with my son, he has experienced adultification bias in regards to, the teacher, he had his head on a desk and the teacher said, go to the principal's office or pick your head up. Like, can you ask him if he's okay? Have some kind of compassion. And so these are things that we need to bring to the forefront, because if our children are suffering in these schools, who's out there to help them? Who's out there to educate them and talk about these different types of topics? Have you had any encounters with any parents that you talk to that state that their children are over disciplined in schools?
I've definitely heard those stories before, and this is a part of the reason why I don't just go to the schools and I speak to the students. I want the educators.
Right.
I want the staff.
Mhm.
I want to talk to them too. So that's why I do professional development as well. And my professional development is not based around telling them or teaching them how to be better teachers, right? I can't teach them how to be better at something that they've already been educated on. I don't have a background in education. My background with my master's degree is in counseling.
Mm,
So I went that route so that I would be able to ask thought-provoking questions to help them get to the bottom of, why did you discipline the child the way that you did?
mm,
Why did you go about things the way that you did? What were you thinking when you saw this from this child? Not so
mm,
much demonizing you or making you feel bad. No, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to bridge the gap between the students and the educators so that people can live in harmony, right?
mm,
And when you have these, predominantly you'll have the educational field is majority Caucasian women, right? So if you have if it's mostly Caucasian women who are dealing with these students and they're dealing with these Black and brown students, in most cases they didn't necessarily come from that same community as them. So
right.
it's not that they're racist, and I'm going to weigh on the side of light, of positivity. I'm going to
Mhm,
speak life into things. So I'm not going to say that they're racist. I'm not going to say that they hate us. I'm not going to say that they don't want to be around us. What I'm going to say is they are confused by that which they do not understand.
yep, I agree.
Our culture is different from theirs. So when they see us expressing ourselves in a loud, boisterous manner, like braggadocious, that's what we do. It's called peacocking. That's old school terminology. Like that's what we do, right?
Right.
So when they see that, and if they're not used to that from their community that they come from, that they might automatically assume that this is something negative and I need to reprimand. I need to get this, I gotta reel this in. I gotta get this in order before it takes over the whole class and everybody's doing, when in essence, that's probably not what's gonna happen. That's just how that student is, and not every student is like that. Right?
Right.
But that's really what it boils down to. Most people, they fear that which they do not understand. But if they took the time to ask a simple question, if they
Yes.
said, hey, what made you beat on your chest after you made that three?
Mm-hmm.
What made you do that? Oh, I saw LeBron James last night and he did it. So I thought that's what you do after you make a three. Oh, okay. I get it. All right.
Right.
Yeah, the one kid that's all the way over in the back of the room, he balls up a piece of paper or whatever and tries to shoot it into the garbage can, and out the back of the room you hear somebody saying Kobe. It's like,
Right.
what did you do that for? It's like, well, it's Kobe, you know?
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
cultural differences. And, I love what you're doing because we need someone to bridge that gap in between the students culturally and the staff culturally, because they just don't understand our culture. And the more we talk about it, the more we bring it to the forefront, eventually we'll get to a space where people are taking implicit bias classes and training and unconscious bias training in order for them to reprogram their minds so they do not look at our students, our Black and brown students, in a way that they should not be looked at.
Honestly, I think to kind of sum that up, the easiest way for educators to get to the point where there is a common ground, a common balance kind of thing, is for them to look at the classroom as not just this is a place where you as a student are supposed to come and sit down and learn. I, as a teacher, am also supposed to come in and learn from you.
Yes.
I've said it before in one of my presentations that when I have students and the staff in the same room, I say, okay, I'm going to help you guys to bridge the gap right here, right now. Super simple, right? And I know after this, you're going to be like, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, just cut the check. It's fine. I'll send you an invoice. All right? It's simple. For the students, I need you to grow up, right? And for the staff members in here, I need you to lighten up. Because as a student, you have to be mature when you're in here in some way, shape, or form. You have to show us that you're growing, right? That you can handle the responsibilities that we're giving you. Because once you get out of here and you're no longer in the confines of this school and you're in the real world, they have no remorse for you. They don't care anymore.
Yeah.
They don't care that you're a little Black or brown kid
Yep.
or whatever. They don't care nothing about none of that. You got to get it together. And as far as the staff members, you got to lighten up. They are still kids and they are maturing and they need time. They need grace. They need that mercy, the same grace and mercy that you want out of your life and you wish that people would have for you when you made mistakes. Apply that to them.
Right.
Because they're still working through it. And then in this day and age with social media and all these different mediums that they have out there, in some cases, it's worse for them than it was for us.
Right.
I grew up in an era where I had the best of both worlds, where we had the time period where there was no internet and then we had the internet and now we got the internet and it's full blown. So
Right.
we had time to get used to it.
Yeah.
Right? These kids are growing up with a tablet in their face. Their schoolwork is done on a tablet.
Yeah.
The educators, they have to kind of adapt to that too. It's like you have to work together. Otherwise, it's just not going to, you're going to hate, the staff members are going to hate their job and the students are going to hate school. And that's a recipe for disaster when the students don't want to come to school. It doesn't seem like a safe haven for them anymore. And the staff members don't want to work at the school because they feel like they're underpaid and they're not valued and they're being looked over and the students aren't paying attention to them. So they're like, well, I don't even want to be here. Well, we're going to have a problem on our hands if we don't have these educators.
Right. And what you're doing, I want you to just go into a little bit more detail about the different programs that you have set up, how people can contact you, what you offer, and even in regards to your speaking engagements.
So one of the main things that I'm called in to do is to do presentations for students and student athletes that are out there as well. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to tell me what their pain points are, and I'm going to structure my presentation around that. So I'm delivering the information that they need and is customized for them. Now, I do have my signature speech, But I have that, but I also have whatever it is that you need for the students. And when it comes to the staff members, I do workshops, and for some of the students, I do workshops for them as well. So we're doing SMART goals, we're doing mindfulness exercises, we're doing DISC assessments. So that's another thing. I'm certified in William Marston's DISC assessment. So learning about the personality types and dealing with these students. And I dealt with a principal once, and I asked him, I said, "Excuse me, sir, how many students do you have in the school?" He said, "Oh man, we have a lot. We have like 600 students." I said, "No, you don't." He was like, "How are you going to, I'm the principal. How are you going to tell me how many students I have in my school? I've been here for years. It's 600, Brad." No, you don't. He said, "Okay, well, explain to me how it is that I don't have 600 students. You don't have 600 students. You have 4. Because there's only 4 different personality types. I need you to take the time to get to know those personality types so that when you talk to these students, you know exactly what personality type to communicate with."
Wow. That's powerful right there. Could you just give us a little bit of the different types of personality types so we can, look out for our own children?
Yeah. So the personality types, the D, the I, the S, and the C. That spells out DISC, right? So the D is the more task-oriented, dominant, bullet points type thing, right to the point, task-oriented. I, gregarious. They're the life of the party. They got a whole bunch of energy. They get, passionate. They, everybody kind of gravitates to that person.
Yeah.
You have the S. The S is cool, calm, and collective. Like they kind of keep to themselves for the most part. But they're a supportive role. They want to help. They keep the pace of things. You can't speed things up. You can't slow things down too much for them. They got to be a nice, even pace. The C, that is the calculated, data-driven, accurate, like measure twice, cut once.
Yeah.
Boom. Like that's the person that you get. So when you know who you're dealing with, you know how to communicate with them. And there's strengths and limitations to all of those personalities. So when I give them the assessment and they take it and they get to see their results, they're like, "Oh wow, that I'm an I. Oh, I'm a D. I'm an S. I'm a C. All right, cool. But what are you? What are you? What are you? Oh, okay, I'm a high this. I'm a high that." And on top of that, the DISC assessment that we give out, it not only gives your natural state, it also gives your adaptive state. So that means who you are when people are watching you. When you're pressure, stress, it could be sometimes. So there's that too, and that's kind of like that X factor that's connected to it, where it's like, "Oh, okay, so I'm really this, but this is how I act when I'm around you."
Right. That is amazing. And that's going to help bridge that gap, just like you said, so that the teachers and the administrators can understand the different types of personalities they're dealing with. Because if you're putting everyone in one box and you feel as if every student should be this specific way, that's when you have this over disciplinary actions given to these students for no reason. And you don't know why you're over disciplining them. Students feeling like they're not good enough because they feel like they don't fit into that box. So what you're doing is phenomenal. I want to really quickly go to some of these comments. So we have a Facebook user says, "This is awesome." We have another Facebook user that says, "Very inspirational." Another Facebook user, Dillinger, he says, "Facts." And you're helping me learn about my own son, And so if you are you doing this nationwide? Are you doing this just in New Jersey? Tell us how people can contact you to get your services, because these schools need it.
Yeah. So no, I'm nationwide. I mean, I've actually gone to other countries as well to do presentations. But honestly, people that are trying to get connected with me and bring me out to do presentations and things of that nature, they might want to go ahead and come on and get on the calendar, because I already have other states who have already, like, it's already pretty much locked and loaded, signed and delivered for me to fly out there and do these presentations for them, do these workshops for them, because they see the value in it. They understand. That's another thing. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're a speaker, and you just feel like it's not working for you for whatever reason, listen, and the people around you aren't supporting you in your little town, your little city, whatever, and you can't seem to figure out why they won't pay me. Why won't they work with me? It's because the dream was given to you and not them. So they're not going to understand. So what you need to do is you have to step out on faith. And that might mean that you might have to leave your little town right? You might have to travel to another state. You might have to go to a conference out of your city, out of your state, maybe even in another country. I just went to Mexico, right?
Yes.
I went to Mexico because it was like, yo, my mentor and all them was like, yo, this is what we doing. I need you to roll. I said, all right, let's get it. And I had never been out of the country. So I said, listen, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do it. And it just opens doors for you. You get around the right people. So that's what I'm looking for, to get in contact with all the superintendents, the principal. If you in there and you listening and you got a superintendent friend, you got a vice principal friend, you got a counseling supervisor, district director, whatever the case may be, and they're the decision makers, tell them to contact me. They can go to the website, which is www.bradbutler2.com. I'll say that again for you, www.bradbutler2.com. All they got to do is fill out the form. We'll get in contact with them. We'll take care of everything. Whatever it is that you need, we can handle it.
Thank you so much, Brad. And you, believe it or not, I do have teachers that listen to this podcast. I have administrators who do listen to this podcast, and this is phenomenal. So all of you administrators who watch my show, please reach out to Brad, because we need him in our schools. We need him to help y'all bridge this gap so we can stop this over-disciplinary actions in the school, stop this adultification bias, because we need to move forward and we need to grow in harmony and in unity. So we also have another Facebook user, Basim. He said, great advice. So Brad, the last thing, I want you to just talk really quickly about Next Level, because you have the t-shirt on. Just go ahead and tell us, what is Next Level?
Hey, so Next Level Speakers Academy, that is an academy that was created by my mentor, Jeremy Anderson. So great guy. He's been doing his thing in the educational field for over 12 years now. And it's been nothing short of a blessing to be able to come in contact with him and be able to work with him in the community. We have we're on the verge of, by the end of this year, we're going to have 3,000 or more speakers in our community. And these are all speakers who are speaking in the educational realm all over, wherever you name it, we got it covered. And we're just doing this thing on a huge, huge scale. So if there's anybody out there who happens to have a great story, an impacting, powerful story, and they want to empower the youth, people in general, doesn't matter, and they want to get their story out there and learn how to do this thing full time the way that I do, man, listen, I need you to click the link in my bio, find it on my page, and sign up for the Six Figure Speakers challenge that's coming up January 31st. It's going to be 5 days long of all content information that you need to get your business started and moving in the right direction, get you paid within this year. I'm talking about less than 6 months, you rocking and rolling, ready to do this thing. So get the information that you need. Let's do this. And of course, if you want to grab my book, Pain, Passion, Purpose, you can go to the website, www.bradbutler2.com. I'll be looking forward to, meeting, contacting, getting in contact with you guys. And I'm right here in New Jersey. So, I'm homegrown. Come get me.
Yes. So we also have Hidden Gems Literary states Brad did a book signing at our bookstore and was also featured during our segment on the Today Show with Huda and Jenna. Yes, congratulations, Brad. That is so awesome. You're doing such phenomenal work. Another Facebook user said, wow, outstanding information.
Oh, shout out to the Hidden Gems Literacy Emporium. Those are my people. Love them to death, love them to life. Can't say that. Love them to life because of what they do in the community. So if you are into literacy and you're getting free books, for your students and things of that nature, you're trying to find children's books, novels, whatever it is that you're looking for, New Brunswick at the Above Art Studio, right? You go right over there, Hidden Gems Literacy Emporium. That is the place where you need to be to get all your author needs. If you're a new author and you want to showcase your books, come on over there, see them. They'll work it out for you so you can get your books out there and get more people to your books. You can make yourself some money and get yourself out there like that the way you're supposed to. And it's just one of those things where, okay, quick statistic. I know we got to get out of here.
Go ahead.
They say that if students are not able to read by the time they're in the 3rd or 4th grade, that they have a high, I'm talking about like 90% expectancy rate to go to jail. So these students need to learn how to read. They need to know how to read. And I started thinking about it to myself. I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense, because if you're around the third, fourth grade, and then you continue to go up and up and up in your grades, and you really don't know how to read, okay, by the time you graduate from high school, they push you through the system and they get you out of there. You're afraid to go to a job because you got to fill out the job application and you don't know what they're asking you. So instead of filling out the job application and doing what you need to do to get a job, oh man, I'd rather just go sell drugs. I'd rather just scheme. I'd rather just do credit card fraud and all that, whatever. I'd rather do anything that will keep me from dealing with this thing that I fear the most, is the fact that I cannot read.
Right.
So, it's a trap. So I just make sure that these kids, these babies, know how important it is for them to be able to read. They don't understand how much power there is in the ability to read and understand, and the comprehension. And it unlocks so much for people. The worst thing in the world that happened for, I think, people in general, my haters, my naysayers, is that I learned how to read and I got comfortable with reading.
I
started finding information, reading it on my own. That's the worst. I said, what? I'm reading on my own? Man, you can't stop me now, because I can find a book for whatever it is that I want.
Yes. Oh, you are so powerful, King. We have a couple of other Facebook users that said, wow, outstanding information. Basim said, love the information. They're loving this show. And I'm so grateful for you being here with us, because we need to see more Black kings like you in the school district, helping bridge these gaps, helping educate our communities to bring in the students so that they can get to the space that they need to be, so that they don't fall into those other types of statistics that we're not going to talk about today. And the last Facebook user says, statistics on point. That's the reason for the third grade test.
There it is. There it is.
All right. So thanks again, Brad. I truly appreciate you being here with me today. Anyone who is interested in his book, it is Pain, Passion, and Purpose. It is available on Amazon, and it's also available on his website. His website is bradbutler2.com. For all of my audio listeners, please be sure to grab a copy of his book. Also, if you are in any type of school district, for as administrators, teachers, reach out to Brad. He got it. Like, he has it going. Like, he is literally doing this in other states. And in the state of New Jersey, we need it here. So I'm so honored and so grateful for you. Thank you again for being here on the show, Brad.
Oh, thank you so much. Listen, it's an honor and a privilege. Every opportunity I get to be able to speak life into others and bring awareness to what I'm doing, to what the educational system needs, and how I'm able to bridge that gap between students and educators. I just don't take it for granted. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So this is the end of the show. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here with me each and every week. Even when I'm not present, you all are sending me emails and messages just to contact me to make sure that myself and my family are okay. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Next week, we have a pre-recorded show, so it would only be streaming on YouTube. You can come to the YouTube channel, hit that notification bell, like and subscribe so you do not miss any shows moving forward. And I just want to send peace and blessings to each and every one of you. May you all be well. Thank you again. Good night.
Thank you for listening to the Survivor Not by Chance podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you to today's guest. We are survivors not by chance. We survive because we fought to survive. Peace and blessings to you all.